Hey guys, today will be a video about 5 tips on how you can improve your laning phase, especially in solo queue as well. I'm just gonna go over a few things, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you do, please subscribe to the channel and like the video. So number 1, last hitting. Obviously the most important thing about this game is last hitting in lane as a laner, right? And winning those last hits. There's a great way to learn how to last hit better, and this is just going in try mode and just seeing how much damage your abilities do to a full HP, let's say Odino. So you can kind of like tell how much damage you do, so you know when the thing gets low that you can take it. There's like one Lucario combo on Dino, and now you kind of know visually how much damage you will have to do to get the last hit, right? This is obviously very important. You should just, like, if you start learning a new character, that's something you should really maybe try out. It's also different, like let's say the top lane are much squishier Pokemon, so here you will do much more damage. So getting a feeling for how much damage you deal to these is very important, just, you know, so you're able to win those last hits. And generally it's something you can just go in try mode and see how much damage you do, and just get a better feeling for all the characters, cause I mean, yeah, right, getting those last hits in laning phase is the most important thing. That's how you win games. And winning those early game Odinos, Ice Qs, A-Poms, whatever you want to call them. Very important to know how much damage you're doing. Tip number 2 is something I don't think a lot of people pay attention to, which is playing around your laner's power spikes, which is very important. Let's say you blame with the weekly tough. What you want your weekly tough to be? Level 4 as fast as possible, right? Are you Ninetales? You want to reach level 4 and level 6? Are you just a Lucario? You just want to always get level 3 for the first fight, right? And as a lot of people don't pay attention because they just hit these things going to laning phase, and they just don't care who gets them. And it's very important that if you play 2 characters that have 2 abilities on level 3 that are important, that each of you take one of these, right? So like 1, 2, 1, 2. Very important that you share those last hits so both characters reach level 3. If you lane with an Eldegoss, you can pretty much take all of these. Eldegoss only need level 2. But this is something very important. I just don't think people really pay much attention to it. And if you, on accident, take every of these last hits as well, and you are like, oh my god, I just took these all because I didn't really pay attention, you can always walk away from this one out of range. Like if, let's say, this is like the XP range of this thing right here, you can just walk towards here, and if your lane partner gets this entire experience on its own, he will also still reach level 3. There's 2 ways of everyone getting level 3 is, again, either everyone takes 1 last hit, right? Or you just take 3 last hits and walk away from the last thing, so that you don't, like, the XP range is pretty low, so if you walk away from it, then yeah, there will still be enough XP for both of you to get level 3. And this is something that is very important. So like, you're laning with a Blastoise, he needs level 3 to have both abilities. Mamus Swine level 3. A Wigglytuff as an example also only needs level 2, because, I mean, level 3 is still important as well for the rollout, but mainly just needs her double slap. Lucario needs level 3 more than anything else, and those things are very important. There's often where I need to literally pay attention to my laner. So, I need to fight my own laner for these last hits because he's not really paying attention to, oh my god, he's just auto-taking. And so I really don't want to fight my laners for it, but there's something you have to pay attention to as well. Then if you notice your laner is just hitting those and there's nothing he's doing, like he's not stopping from hitting them, then you have to actually try and get your last hits from your teammate. And then as well, when you come to laning phase, and all these things are right, think about what characters you want to be level 4 for these first spawn in middle, right? Like, again, if you have a Wigglytuff, she wants to be level 4. If you have a Mr. Mime, it's much more important for the Mr. Mime to reach level 4 than, let's say, you play Pikachu for you to reach level 4. Pikachu, of course, Thunder would also do a lot, but then Mr. Mime is so much more important to reach level 4. And afterwards, like Mr. Mime, after this level 4, he should just give, like, he can try to steal these, right? But he should try to give all the experience to his teammate. Let's say you're Ninetales, because Ninetales power spikes level 6. So it's very important to visualize what power spikes are on which character. That's why also I think one-trick pony, being a one-trick pony, sometimes you still need to understand what the other characters in the game do. And that's something you should really look into and think about what power spikes do Pokemon have. I guess I can talk about it as well a bit for the Pokemon that lane. So, as an example, Absol is level 1 and level 3 and level 5. So you get level 3, 2 abilities, and level 5 you get Night Slash, which is one of the biggest snowball abilities in the game. Blastoise Power Spike is also level 5 and level 1 and level 3, so it's very important that he gets level 3. Blissey is not that important, but obviously on those characters like Blissey, Eldegoss, and Wigglytuff, you still want to just evolve as fast as possible as well, right? Level 4. Someone like Sylveon just wants level 4, besides that nothing else matters. Level 4 is the biggest power spike for Sylveon. Snorlax literally doesn't care what level he is. Of course he wants to be level 5, but it's not that important since Tackle is a very good last hit. Pikachu power spikes are levels 4 and level 6 and level 3, as an example as well. So this is something you should try and visualize yourself. Just look at these characters, be like, okay, I'm just gonna click on Sylveon. Yeah, gets 2 moves right on level 1 and level 3, and then draining. These are level 6, and then oh yeah, Hyper Voice is level 4. I probably should play around my Sylveon being level 4 if I'm playing like a Slowbro, because Slowbro gets surf, but it's not that important over like how much bigger the Sylveon power spike is. Same for if you lane with the Lucario. Lucario wants to be level 3 and then level 5, right? After level 5, he doesn't really care anymore. Then you can start taking all the experience yourself. So this is just something very, very important, and playing around that's what I try to do as well. I always try to play around my laner who I lane with for experience. But if I play with someone like this, okay, let's say I'm an Absol, and I'm playing with a Cinderace, right? In those scenarios, I will literally just take everything. I don't care that the Cinderace is there, because those characters will not help you win the game. That's the issue. So you just take most of the things you can. Cinderace will never reach a power spike to begin with. Of course, level 7, but it's so far away. Like, you need to win the lane, and hopefully by you winning the lane very hard, the Cinderace will also slowly get levels. Of course, you can share it, but yeah, pretty much very important. Same for like someone like Gardevoir wants to be level 5. So play around your teammates' power spikes. Very, very important. The next thing that's very important to understand as a laner is jungle pathing. Always just look at your jungler and try to understand where the enemy jungler wants to be as well. If you see your jungler does this clear, right? He starts here, goes here, goes here, goes here, and your bot lane, which means you can be a bit aggressive if you see that your jungler is coming towards bot lane. Always be aware that of getting counter ganked. The enemy jungler can also decide, yeah, maybe I just want to gank bot lane. Junglers will tend to, I don't think most junglers really tend to what they want to go to, but just look at your jungle pathing or your jungler and understand, am I safe? What should I be doing? If you're bot laning and you see your jungler doing like this and going to top lane, right? Then after you clear these Ordinos, just stay on the pet, right? Until the B spawn. And until the B spawn, also just be safe. Don't be too far out. And yeah, just stay safe. Take this, and then you can do something here. If your jungler plays towards your lane, you can be a bit more aggressive. Try to scout vision here and here for the opponents, and just see if you can maybe even trap the enemy jungler that's also maybe ganking towards your lane. Most junglers will be done with the clear around like 920 to 910. That's when the junglers will most likely be ganking, depending on what they play. Some junglers are a bit faster, some are always a bit slower at clearing. But you should really be aware that you are not too overextended by the time the enemy jungler is done with this, right? Really should be paying attention to that. So what is the most likely jungle pathing? Most junglers still do the very simple rotation, right? Is go for blue buff to red buff to crab, and then gank the lane they're at. So understanding is, if you're on the sand side, right? If you spawn on this sand side, then there's a high chance that your jungler will become bot lane and the enemy jungler will go top lane. Because if he also does the same rotation like this, then you'll be top lane. This always doesn't happen, but this is the most common jungle road. They still exist. A lot of people also do like things like this now to then gank the other lane. But mostly, a lot of junglers will just stick to the very basic jungle pathing and then just gank the lane, that is just made for them. Which is obviously bad. You should always look to which lane is stronger. There's also something you should think about is my lane vulnerable to ganking? The enemies have a lot of CC on their lane. Am I just in danger? The enemies have a weakly tough Ninetales as an example. You literally just can't walk up. You just have to be safe. You just have to wait. Is my jungler here? We can maybe do something. And even if your jungler's there, if the enemies have a stronger lane, you still have to be just much careful. Much more careful. So yeah, understanding jungle pathing is very important. Also for the second B spawn. Try not to be overextended, especially at 720, right? For the second one, because if you die here, then the enemies will just get a free Dreadnought pretty much. So try not to overextend if you don't see your jungler there. And if you see the enemy jungler top lane, though, you can obviously look for things, right? Pretty much. But just don't try to be too over-aggressive if you have no information on the enemy jungler. Very, very straightforward. Tip number 4 is how to play against characters who want to score on your goal. I see a lot of people trying very, very hard to stop Lucarios and Greedents from scoring small points. You just can't. If you see the enemy Lucario just straight up going for this all the time, just make sure you take the farm away before he can. It's just very important to not be playing. If you play towards trying to stop their 5 or 7 score goal, you're just wasting time. You're literally playing their game, which you don't want to do. So If you see the enemy Lucario doing this all the time with low coins, then just make sure you get the farm. Very, very important to not be, not trying too hard to stop anyone from doing it. It happens quite often. I see people literally flashing or eject butting back towards the Lucario to try and stop the goal. It's just not gonna happen. You just try to ignore him. And if you're the one that plays a squashy character, then you obviously can look to always invade, get maybe if you get a last hit score, back off again, try to get another last hit score again. Same scenario there if you're the squashy character. Also, what I like doing is when this thing spawns, this is a tip for both sides, right? This thing spawns at 9 minutes, right here. You can either go for yours, or you can try to maybe look for a score while the enemies are trying to be busy here. This is also something you have to do when the enemies want to do this. So try to only go for one character for this. Try to only let the character that needs maybe the level up to level 4 get this thing, while one guy defends this. Because there's a lot of scenarios where both of the laners go towards this thing, and the enemies just walk up and double score, which is just so much more experience than this one crap, right? That's something you should be really, really very aware about, and yeah, just make sure you have one guy always guarding the goal in the early game and not just doing this, because early game scoring is a lot of experience and you don't want the opponents to just get free experience. And the same goes for you. If you play something that also you can escape with, you can look for those early scores while the enemies are busy with this, or maybe you see the enemies walking upwards here to get these, when they spawn, then just go for a score. Much more important than maybe contesting this if you see the enemies are split up. For number 5, how should you be playing the first objective? Which one is still a more important one for laners to also play for? And it's still Dreadnought. Dreadnought is still the more important objective in the early game. Later on, which we'll not talk about in this video, maybe in another one, Rotom will be more important. But the first objective, Dreadnought, is still huge snowball objective. It gives you so much team experience. That's something you should still play for, especially in solo queue, where uncoordinated teams is just getting XP is very, 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 very important. So how do you play the first objective if you're top lane? Okay, let's say you're playing a defender. As a defender, you should always rotate to bot lane at around 7:30 and contest this with your bot lane. So if you win this, you probably get an advantage. You can maybe get kills, and you instantly can turn your way onto the Dreadnought, right? If you play someone that needs farm and you like, oh my god, I'm not gonna even be strong for this fight, you can honestly stay top lane and just farm these and just hope that your team does well with one of you rotating bot lane. So if you play a support or tank on top, try to rotate. If you want top lane very hard and you already reach your power spikes, you can also rotate bot lane. You can straight up walk here. After the bees are down, after you kill this, probably you can just straight up rotate down. You can also do it much earlier. Again, you can also be here at 7:20 when these spawn and just contest instantly and hope you get kills and instantly turn on the Dread. Especially if you're like a Dragonite, all you want to do is get the priority done. But if you're like, let's say you're playing Gardevoir top lane, and it's already looking quite bad for you, you didn't really get much experience. For you, it's just better just stay top lane and just take all of this and hope that the enemies maybe rotate as 5 and you just get all this experience. Don't try to focus on Rotom too hard. I think the Rotom for the first objective is only good if you very, very play these very aggressive split push Pokemon like Talonflame, but it's just, it's not very easy to coordinate in solo queue. If you play duo queue, of course, you can be like, we just play around Rotom, we just go for all of these, and we just completely skip this and just go for this. But these guys, what I'm talking about is mainly solo queue and solo play, which I think most of the people that play this game will be playing. And not everyone is going to be this duo queue that they want to just, backdoor scores all the time and just pressure the Rotom. But it's still a legit strategy to be very aggressive on the first Rotom. But in general, in solo queue, Dreadnought is still important. But again, it's not wrong to stay top lane and farm all of these. So there's also some characters, let's say I used to play Zeraora top lane where I just needed level 8. So I always stayed top lane, took all of this after I took this, because in the 1v1 nothing can really beat the Zeraora early game. You just take the enemy jungle, just go here, and you just hope your team doesn't lose this too hard. But again, solo queue is very selfish playstyle. But the main reason I personally like playing bot lane 1 solo queue, just to have this adventure. Because if I win bot lane, I have a higher chance of getting the Dreadnought, right? Like I can control how well my bot lane is doing if I'm part of it. So I personally prefer going bot lane the most. Also, in case you don't know, bot lane gives a bit more experience since there's one Audino here compared to this. Which means if you always win this, you have much more experience than top lane. Because this is much, much more experience than one crap. And that's why I prefer going bot lane, just to have that first Dreadnought advantage and have better positioning for it. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, I would appreciate this if you guys subscribe to the channel and like the video. Bye!